Okay, here we go. Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are competing before we even start with the normal salutes. We're competing with some power washing on the plaza.
We hope you don't hear it.
And we did a test run where we don't think you can hear it because the microphone's only picking up what's in front of it. But I can still hear it. And I'm hoping it doesn't lead to another migraine today. It'll be different if it is. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The Adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in downtown Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion at Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in downtown Brevard, North Carolina.
There you go. Are you in the shot enough, do you think?
Okay.
I was okay. We debate where to put the computer like almost every day, and where to put the winder because we move it so we can wind better. And yeah, okay. I want Liz to have her due because she's important. Look, we're both wearing green today, but they're really different colors of green. They're not.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream. Dark and broody.
Dark and broody olive. I like it. It's I have these hazel green eyes that, you know, back when I cared about what I wore, other than, you know, my
when she didn't have a uniform.
A uniform. Yes, there we go. That's what we're going for. I would like wearing shades of green because my eyes would actually change to match it. But now I'm just, you know, doing my thing. So I'm like, It's both green and the stitching on it's purple. Two of my favorite colors.
Thistle colors.
Thistles! Yay! Okay. Only really rough ideas of what we're talking about today. Oh, and maybe it's this right here. Okay. I realized I left my patterns here yesterday, but my printer was running out of ink anyway. But I wanted to talk about some crochet stuff today, and then we wanted to talk about some shift stuff today. Yeah. And I'm really trying to focus because that's really loud. You may not hear it at all, but it's really loud. So, where do you want to start?
I did get another row done on my crocheted.
Let's start with ongoing work because that's just a good place to start.
I have not worked on any of my knitted papillons because
this is too much fun.
It's single crochet for the rest of my life. Either way, but this one doesn't count. It's my 12th papillon that I'm working on, but it doesn't count because it's on a crochet hook and not on needles. So
for anyone who's only just joining us, Liz only counts her ongoing works in progress, or WIPs, as ones that monopolize, how I would describe it, as ones that monopolize a tool. So in knitting,
they're stuck. You can't. You can theoretically pull your needle out and put a holder in there and then try and remember what size needles you had, and I can't. So I just leave them on.
And in crochet, you can just pull the, like, here's what I'm working on currently. And my hook's here. My hook is not in it because I just pulled the loop real big. This is going on.
It's hard to see. My hook is blending in with the.
Can hold it there, in the way. But that's when I stop and take a break. I actually have to take. For me personally, I take my hook out because I don't want to lose stuff.
I generally take my hook out, wrap everything up, and twist my hook in there like a shawl.
Yeah, I'll do before I show this off because we're gonna talk about hers first. I'll fold it up, and yeah. My hook is in it right there, but it's not in the loop. The loop is just pulled real big. Some people will use an open close stitch marker and put it on that loop in case it gets yanked so the work doesn't come out. But that's the other flip side is it's not like if your tool comes out, suddenly your whole thing unravels. You might lose a couple stitches. And it's one of the things I like, and I'm thinking might be beneficial on your Papillon, which we'll look at in more detail because it looks really awesome, is if you messed up, I say you, not her, just in general.
In general.
If you mess up one of the squares, which is one of the little loops and the bubbles, I have to put it in the wrong spot. You have to it's really hard to wrap to undo it in knitting because you have to undo the wrap.
Tinking it out is
tinking is wrong. And
with crochet, you pull your hook out and go. Zzz, oh, there's the end. Okay, stick everything, hook back in, loop, and just keep going. And so much easier.
Backing out in crochet is really fast and really easy.
So now it looks like a blue Yoda hat.
That's a blue baby Yoda.
The top is bubbling out.
It's doing a weird curvy thing.
And I've thought about how do I fix that. And I really don't care. Because when I wear it as a very big shawl, I'm just going to tuck the top down. Mm-hmm. And it'll keep the back of my neck warm. I'm
trying to remember, because with the knitting Papillon,
you start with the garter.
You do kind of have, that's only on the...
Yeah, no, not a garter
cowl.
You cast on 5, and you increase another 4.
It does still have some shape to the edge, and some of that you can mess with when you block it. But I'm guessing it's just being more pronounced.
I didn't start with I did start with the 5, but I started with 5 in a magic circle, the magic ring, because I thought about doing the 5 just chain. And I didn't like how that looked either. So it's kind of hit or miss. But the 5 in the circle actually puts it in a, gets it going there.
And the shaping, what's being kind of a Yoda ear shaping, that wouldn't be changed by how you started it.
Yeah. Some of it I think is I might need extra stitches to, keep it going, but I'm not doing the math. I am following the pattern exactly as written.
Because it's an experiment.
And nobody has time to write down extra
I'm just laughing and smiling right now because you know how you said with the Pokemon balls?
Yeah.
You can't unsee them? Mm-hmm. There's a
This
spot.
is the top half of the Pokemon ball.
Yeah, well there's a spot in the shawl where it's 2 mirror image, just kind of not cat's eye, because that's more what I would call
it's
the other one.
I call it a hat.
But yeah, but once you call it that, you can't unsee it. Now that you have called this
Yoda hat.
Now that you call this basically a baby Yoda, I cannot unsee that.
It'll get bigger and it won't look like
it's like if the people from what's the Cameron movie? Avatar. Look. It's like if Avatar and Baby Yoda had a baby.
The ears roll.
Oh boy. Oh, so this is awesome. And you changed colors, right?
I did. I changed colors. I have my goal is just to use up scrap yarn at home, all of which I bought here. It just is sat in my stash for quite a while. Yarns have gone out of stock. We no longer carry them. Yarns have gone out of business. They shut down. The colors that I'm using in the
blue and the green.
The blue and this one are classically Liberty Wool. Mm-hmm. This is the Liberty Wool color changey, and this is the Liberty Wool Shadow, which I love Shadow. It was
it's tonal. It's very pretty.
So I'm just going through my stash. When I run out of they're all 50-gram balls for the colors. So when I run out of a color, I'm just changing colors. I'm not completely out of the blue yet. I just got tired.
It was a good place to change it, right? And it's and the Liberty Wool that just kind of morphs through the colors is very similar. Do you mind if I hold this up?
Nope.
Because this is
that's it.
It's going to get some darker stuff in there, and it's going to have some blue that is just it's a blue-green, right? It's like a tealy. It looks,
the inside is dark green.
Even darker than the green she's wearing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the original Papillon was designed for unique yarns, earth by earth, and that has some more stark color shifts than the fadey Perth that we used for it, or I've used for it. And so it's kind of replicating that in a way. So that's pretty cool.
It's been a fun experiment. Eventually, I'm going to get tired of single crochet. Yeah, I don't like it. That's why knitting is single crochet for the rest of my life. But
which usually she says in a very way, and now she's doing that.
On the plus side, when I'm done, I don't have to bind off. I just pull my yarn through that end, and I'm completely done.
She's very excited about that.
No binding off 400 stitches.
So what I was holding up before is I did a whole thing on Rachie Newen in the newsletter this week, which was copied to Facebook if you want to see it. And this cowl, I was like, ooh, I'm going to get back to crochet. This just takes 2 skeins of DK weight, and that's what it looks like all fluffed up. This, I'm 5 rows away from finishing this. I bet if I wasn't working also for y'all to try to get so many things up online and trying to get other stuff up for the new normal, which changes every day, I'd be done with this. But this is what it looks like. This is where I started. This is what it looks like when it's flat. And I should say, I am a loose crocheter. So I could have, to get gauge, I probably should have gone down a couple hook sizes. But she does say in the instructions for this, you know, gauge is not really essential because it'll be a little smaller or a little bigger. It's a cowl. Have fun. She even says in her instructions, I'm trying to follow the instructions as written, but she does say in the instructions, you know, if you want to weigh your yarn or figure out a way so that you change from the solid part to the stripy part when you've used up 25% of this color. And then do as much of this, which is really fun. It's got texture. Look at that. That is, I'll talk about those stitches in just a second. She says, do it until you have so much of the yarn left. And I was just like, you know what, let me just try to follow the basic instructions. And again, I am a little bit, drop the end of this. That was my example. I'm a loose crocheter. So as I neared the end of this, again, I have to replicate this stuff up here now. But as I was nearing the end of the 7 rows of alternating colors, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And you know what? If I hadn't made it, I just would have made that section shorter. That's okay. But as I neared the end of this, I was playing yarn chicken. And yarn chicken is when you are in a game of chicken with the yarn ball and you see who runs out first. And I won. I had this much left. I'll hold it like here so you can see. I had that much left. Yeah, this much. That's it. Not even forming a cohesive ball anymore. Yay. I have this much left of my multicolor, this festivity, which is so much fun. Which again, shop colors. I am just loving the shop colors right now, be they bright or muted. And now I get to play yarn chicken with this one and see if I can get a matching symmetrical 5 rows up here. And if I don't, that's okay.
The nice thing is you don't have to back out a row to bind off.
Which
when you finish,
that's what
you're just done.
That's what happened with the bamboo gloom cowl. I got half into the bind off and ran out of yarn. I lost it, yarn chicken. So sad. So I had to back out that half row and the row before it to make sure I had enough to bind off. That is sadness. I will do it, but it is sadness. So, so this is really fun because honestly, it's not super complicated. You hold the whole thing up closer.
It's all what? Half doubles and doubles?
Kind of, yes. It is straight up double crochet, which is a nice tall stitch down here. It is alternating rows of half double crochets, which are between a long twisty double and a short and squat single, like Liz is doing. It's short and squat, but a little twisty. It's a happy medium. And then this center section that has what she calls the texture, kind of accordions a little bit, that is a back post double crochet. The twisty part of the double crochet is called the post. Kind of twists around, called the post. And a back post double crochet, you actually wrap around the post instead of going through the little hole at the top for people who are relatively new to crochet. And I think I've done a tips and tricks video on front post and back post. Those are referring to which side of the work you start on when you go to wrap around the post. Front post, you come in from the front and dig around it. Back post, you come in from the back and dig around it to the other side. And it's fun because if you do alternating rows, honestly, this is reversible. This is completely reversible except for where I changed colors and I have a little seam of bringing the colors up. Rachie says you can make this flat and sew it together, or you can slip stitch it together and but keep turning and going, and that's what I'm doing, which means I will have a little bit of a seam showing, so that I want to put that part in the back when I wear it, probably, although no one's probably going to notice it because when I wear this, it will flop and layer and do what it wants to. But what I like about this is sometimes when you make cowls, the inside flops and is shown and it's not as pretty as the outside. And this one, it's okay. You can see both sides, and apart from that little seaming part, who cares? So, the other thing I want to mention before we talk about shifties is the next project of hers that I want to start. I'm going to put kits, by the way. Once I finish this, I'm going to put kits that we took pictures for yesterday up on the shop. Bless you. One more? Nope. Yes.
Generally, I sneeze in 3s or 4s.
Which is why I waited.
And 2s is weird.
So I'm going to get kits of this, hopefully up this weekend. And again, only 2 skeins of yarn. It's got a nice heaviness to it, but not super heavy. So it's a fun project that hopefully won't take you too long. Then the next one I want to do by her is called the Wildflower Shawl. It's again written for DK. I got a picture printed today. That is it when it's all wrapped around someone's neck or the dress model's neck. And this is it laid out. Her decorative term for it is a half hexagon, and I can kind of see in here what I stumbled across yesterday, or a trapezoid, you know. And I was all like, I might even mention on Tuesday, I'm going to do these colors, and it's going to be so pretty. And this is the festivity again in another color, and this is the burnish in the fiber space. Oh, it's going to be so pretty. And then I was looking at the instructions, and it said 3 colors, 3 skeins, and I was just like, huh? And if you look at this one, there's the pinky purple, and then there's 2 different variegateds in there. You can kind of, it almost looks a little stripy. They're very similar, but a little different. So I went, do I want to get just 2 skeins of this color? And then there was another color I was kind of eyeing. And see this and this? They're close, but they're different. I'm gonna try it.
Because if you look in the natural light, your brown and cream, not the one in the cake. Sorry, pointing with my needle. That one, the brownie has a reddy purple color to it, so it looks brown on
another
camera.
Purple,
and that has the purpley pink. But yeah,
I think
they'll look gorgeous.
And if this works and I like it, I'll make kits for this too. And Liz is my color guru to put together ideas, and every once in a while I make an idea on my own. Yesterday I was like, I did this myself, and I'm like, wait, no, you suggested this.
It was a group project.
It's a group project. Every once in a while I think I can do it on my own. I just, Liz is good at it, and I value her, so I often throw her under the bus and make her do it. It just happens, you know. So, so the other thing that we kind of both contemplated talking about today, like you text and say, hey, should I bring this in? I said, yeah.
I asked because we talked about it yesterday.
Yes. So yesterday, we were mentioning, trying to figure out what's making the. Oh, it's just never mind. I just can't see what's.
Is there a tickle in your cowl?
No, I was just looking at what we're filming and getting distracted by seeing a thing, and it wasn't a thing. But see, here's the thing: when I film the tips and tricks at home, I can't see what's being filmed because I have the back side of my camera on my phone propped up, and then I'm like, well, I hope this is on camera. I have no idea. You know, when I'm doing the front shot like this. Either way, it's problematic. We were talking about these lovelies, the Cascade 220 Superwash Wave, and how they are a more economical alternative for the shift, which is a cowl, and then the Nighshift is a shawl by Andrea Mowry. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. There's also a hat, a sweater.
There's so many different, and
the list of possibilities is endless. Kind of, yeah.
Variations on theme. Yeah. And one of the most basic to start with, I think, is the shift, which is a triangle cowl. So it makes it look like you're wearing a big triangle shawl, but it's not going to fall off and it's not going to be as bulky. And it only takes 3 skeins of yarn, 100-gram skeins of yarn. It's written for Spin Cycle, which is a color shifting yarn we do not carry, but we do have Feederbrook Farm. This stuff, which we've talked about before. And I couldn't find my shift because I was looking through a huge pile of samples over there. And when we were done filming, I found it in a pile over there, which gives you an idea of what the shop is like right now. So, are you trying to figure out where you are in that?
No, I figured out where I am, but I'm trying to figure out where I'm going next, and it was like, wait, that makes no sense. But so it's not where I am now. So.
I found my shift, which is the cowl that's seamed here. It's knit flat and it's seamed up the back. And Liz dug out, now I'll put it on. Liz dug out her Nighshift. So the shift, it's got mosaic, it's got alternating bubbles, bigger and smaller bubbles that are made by knitting across with one and back, and then knitting across with the other. And when you slip stitches, you create the bubbles. And it's originally written for this one, for 3 slow color changing yarns, so that it just looks like there's a million colors in there. And I made mine, I mentioned yesterday, I made mine, you can see there's 2 solids and 1 color changing, because that's all we had in the shop at the time. And it was a color changing that we could not sell to save our lives. And then I made this and we've run out of it. So the orangey red and the olivey green are solids, and anything else you see that's not those 2 is the color changing. So it might look like it's stripes, but it's 1 yarn that changes colors. And the idea is if you pick 3 yarns that change colors, it'll look like you have a million yarns in there. Less work, more results. Anyway.
Yesterday I thought, I said the Nighshift was like 6 or 7. It's like 5.
No, we both overestimated.
Yeah, we overestimated.
It's in that, this is 3.
A lot. You can do
and I
with
assumed that was twice.
You can do with more than 5 because she gives you a recipe for how to do the things. This is much.
Isn't that cool? And how far through that do you think you are?
I am on section 8, getting ready to do row 21 of section 8.
I'm going to hold this right in the middle.
So
this is probably going to be our cover photo.
Going to be a little bit bigger. So
how odd is it that these actually have overlapping colors?
I know.
It's not intentional.
No.
Yeah.
This is 5 colors of Lorna's laces that should not be together in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
And this section here, I'm going to hold it up closer to the camera. This section in here looks like Fiesta wear, and I didn't plan it. It's flames and this. Like, everybody looked at my colors, like I have these 2. Zombie Nibbles, Shenanigans. These are my colors.
Wow.
Should not be found together in the same room.
And that's the point of all of the shifts. The cowl, the shawl, the sweater. In theory, if you're going to pick color changing yarns, and Liz's, I should point out, are not long color fades, they are just variegated.
Variegated.
You can totally do that. If we put kits together, they're probably going to be fades, or like waves, we would call it. Fades tend to imply really long color shifts. We're not quite doing that with these guys. They have slow color shifts, but not taking the whole skein of yarn to get through one shift of color. You're supposed to pick ones you don't think would work together. because you'll be amazed at the results. If you pick colors that blend too much, you won't see the really cool pops.
If you like surprises, just pick completely random.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like surprises, one of our knitters, she went through probably 20 different colors trying to plan hers out.
Mm-hmm.
You can swatch it. It's easy enough to swatch and decide which colors on the recipe you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more work than I want to do. So I just picked a bunch of random colors and went with it. And I'm actually liking it. Like, you know, it goes from the dark reds like this, all of this down is this background.
You got the background and you got the bubble color on top, and they switch. And so sometimes the bubble color is the background color.
Yeah.
If you follow her instructions, it'll take us a distinct pattern to it, which is what I did. Or you can change whenever you want. Like she was saying, there are instructions for that. It depends on how, I wouldn't call it how creative you want to get, but how improvisational you want to get, because it's all creative. But
she says at the top, if you don't want to follow exactly like what I've done, here's the recipe. You do this many rows in one color and this many rows in the next color, and it's that, you know.
I think both following a pattern and doing what we call carolizing are both equally creative. It's a matter of what you're comfortable with.
And with the recipe she gives, it's not exactly carolization, because the only thing you're switching out is colors.
You know that Carol would change it up more, but you know. So like if I was gonna make, out of the colors we have left of Feederbrook Farm, if I was gonna make some kits, I wouldn't pick, like doing this one, I picked two solids that kind of went, that coordinated but still popped against the color changing down here, oxidation. So if you want to do that, you can pick as few color changings as you want and pick solids that might go with it, but don't blend with it. But if you're gonna pick, let me see. If you're gonna pick from these guys, I'm gonna try to get one or two of what we have left. Like these two colors, I would not do together because they're not the same color, but they both have similar tones in them. I'm gonna throw some stuff out here, and we see what we get. Like,
I
here's
might
the crazy
pair
thing.
those two.
The color I have in my cowl,
two the
this
same?
is the new dye lot of it, and it's very different. If you had to pick out 3 of these, Liz,
If I had to pick out 3,
and I'll try one too. We always have that crazy one.
I know, but I've already.
It's hard. And we're down to a pretty low amount of Feederbrook right now because it was very, very popular.
I might do this.
We've ordered more. Yeah. See how there's a lot of, like 2 of the ones she's holding are similar, but not in the same way. They're both light, but not in the same way.
Yeah. My first instinct would be go put the green, but the green's going to get lost because there's greens in both of them. So you want something to pop.
Like I almost might do these 3 together because they're really different. But then again, these both have green. So, and I think we're out of the beautiful blues we had. We have blues and purples, right? So these 2, I might even do something like this, which seems really crazy, but might be really beautiful.
So beautifully together.
Or even this. And you might be like, but this green and that, and it's like, just give it a chance. It's all gonna work together in weird, wonky, fun ways. So this is the fancy stuff. Wonderful hand-dyed, our sheep to shop yarn that we're hoping to get more in next week and put together kits. This one, if even just a shift, is gonna cost you close to $90. A night shift out of this, you know, we're talking
5 times 30.
$150, right? Or more. And this stuff that we talked about yesterday, I mean, we have almost just enough colors to just take one of each one and do a night shift. This one is it's going to be less than half the cost. to do it out of Superwash wave. So we'll put together kits of both for you online. I'm not sure yet if they will be in the same listing or in two separate listings. We might have a Superwash listing for the shift and a Feederbrook listing. So you can go to the one. I mean, I would look at both of them because you might like a color combo that is in a different price range than you expected. Either way, right? But I think it's going to be fun, and I'm going to try to get kits together for our crochet stuff. The power washer just picked up again, so I lost my train of thought.
We were doing
so well.
good.
And speaking of kits, we did put up kits for the Fall River.
Oh, I forgot to bring that one. I knew I was supposed to bring it.
Liz has done one. We'll add, I mean, I think I don't have room online unless we swap out one of the pictures I took of my finished piece with yours. But we will revisit that on Tuesday. But for right now, before we sign off, I want to show you what we're talking about with Fall River. We put it on social media, but I know not everyone who watches us on YouTube sees us on social media. So, Liz, how many colors for the Fall River?
It just takes one color, but 2 walls. So, 800 meters ish. Little. You can do less than 800 meters. You can do more than 800 meters, but I played yarn chicken with an 800 meter ball.
I think we showed this off on the show before because we were like, ooh, favorite crochet piece, like way back in the beginning, because we're on what, episode 46 now? So you want to grab a side of that?
Yep.
We love this one. I mean, look how lacy this is. You can see
right through it.
It blends in with the background in a way because it is just so pretty. It's not going to be our cover photo, as glorious as this is. It's hard to see, but it's wonderful. It is a color-changing yarn. It is not this one, although I'm sure it's on the table somewhere, but it is a yarn called Perth that changes. Someone asked, I put this on Instagram last night, and they're like, which color is that? Because I put the color combos too. So our kits are just, you need 2 skeins. So we threw out some 2 skein combos.
I know I've said this a billion times. Probably, maybe not a billion. But this colorway, when it's knit up, looks nothing
like this. Mm-hmm. Looks totally different.
Personally, I think it looks better crochet.
So go on our online shop to see Alice Springs is what this one is. Our rep even said, I've never seen Alice Springs look like that. And we can't keep this stuff in stock because this is just so pretty. If you want a closer up look, yeah, I know I'm covering up the mic. Oh well.
It's a fun. It's an easy 3-row repeat. Once you get into it, it's 3 rows
or so.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, I haven't done it in a while. It just like the knit one starts here and just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as you go. When I put this on Instagram, every time I put this on Instagram, I have someone who says, I'm a knitter, but this makes me want to crochet. It's awesome.
It's part of the reason I think crochet lace looks better than knit lace.
You can get more detail and more openness and more intricacies with crochet lace. It's our first crochet kit that we've put up. This one will be my second to get up. And then Liz will help me work on a third one for the shawl once I do it. I like to test before I put full kits up because I like to be able to tell you, I use this much. You may run out if you are a looser crocheter or knitter than me, or you may have a lot extra. But here's what happened for me. I like to be able to testify what happened for me rather than just throwing stuff out there. The only thing I did that with was Casa Pinka because she had good guidelines of what should happen. So, okay. We need to get ready for the craziness that will be today.
Yes.
Come by the shop if you're local and want to see any of this stuff. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the day, and the sticky note. Thank you for writing that, because Tuesdays and Thursdays are the day we will help you outside. And Tuesday was, oh my gosh, we had a line of people in a way, all wanting help, and we were helping people as fast as we could. They were all socially distant because we have this lovely plaza outside, and we can bring the entire shop out to you in shifts if you want to see it.
We talked about this.
I am the queen of the unintentional pun. And it's only when other people notice that it's like, oh, look, I'm being witty, but I'm not because I don't. Anyway, that happened multiple times on Tuesday. So we do want to make sure we're ready for it today because it was 11:30 before I even got the table and our new sandwich board signed out. But I wanted to make sure to give one more plug for our Facebook Live event on Saturday. It will not be like this. It won't be in the shop because that would be too distracting because we'd have people being like, can I come in?
It would be crazy.
It'll be at my house. It'll be like the Worldwide Knit and Public Day. I'll
be at my house. On Zoom. I'll be on Zoom. You can probably hear me through Facebook because Rebecca will be on Zoom and Facebook. And
two options. I'm still deciding where to set up. If I'm going to set up where I film tips and tricks, or if I'm going to set up in the living room like I did last time. Either one has its issues, especially because Brian will be home and I'll small house, so he'll have to just work around me. But it'll be two formats. Join us on Zoom if you want to see the other people who are involved, or some of them, and hang out with them like a knit night, but in the afternoon. And that's always, the meeting is always our shop phone number, 828-877-3550. You hit join and you put that code in and I'll admit you from the wait room. Or you can join the Facebook Live event, and that will most likely just be my mug, if you don't mind just seeing me, but possibly hearing the Zoom people. And you can type in comments there. You can't like speak to us verbally, but you can speak, you can type to us, and if I notice your comment or your question, I will respond, or I'll throw it to the group or something. It was kind of interesting last time, and I'd like to see if we can foster this and make it a thing. I'll show you what I'm working on. It's a little self-conscious when you're just looking at me on Facebook, but Facebook Live can be a good option if you're camera shy, which is fine. We had people who joined the Facebook because it was noisy at home, and it was a way to feel like you were with the people, but not have your sounds from home jumping into the Zoom call, but you can just mute yourself on Zoom. That's an option too. If you're not a fan of Zoom or don't know how to work Zoom, Facebook, and you are on Facebook, Facebook Live can be a good option. I don't think you have to be on Facebook to join a Facebook Live event or watch it, because my church does Facebook for their services, and I think we'll work on that. If we don't figure it out this time, we're hoping. What you were suggesting, Liz, we do this maybe monthly. We'll see. It's been a little over a month.
We're playing around with it still, working stuff out, but this week we have a Saturday.
Yeah, 1 to 5. Because Facebook Live will cut off the recording at 4 hours. So that's a good time. Because that way maybe I can have lunch before instead of on the Zoom thing.
And before we forget, tomorrow night is our normal sit and stitch.
Yes. 6 to 9 p.m.
6 to 9 p.m. Eastern time.
All of this is Eastern time because we are on the East Coast-ish.
Yeah.
We're in the Eastern time zone. So if you are not in the Eastern time zone, plan accordingly. And my thing with sit and stitch when it was actually here in the shop or when it's live, my thing is come when you can, leave when you have to. So we're going to be there from 1 to 5. Unless there's a craziness that happens.
And this time I don't have to wake up to find out we're doing it.
We planned ahead.
We planned ahead.
I sprung this on her last time.
But she was very gracious and said I didn't have to be there. And I was like, well, I kind of do. But
since I didn't ask her ahead of time, I wasn't going to force her to be there. But this we planned ahead. So. We would totally do it from here as a Facebook Live event if it weren't for the fact that there are all these windows and it's going to be the weekend.
We would have to like hide in a corner.
Yeah.
And I mean hide.
Yeah. And then we'd have to be too close to each other. So
yeah.
That would hurt. Yeah. Anyway, we love you all. We miss you. Even those we haven't met yet. There's more reason to miss you because you're part of our community and we haven't met you yet. But thank you for watching and stay safe. Please subscribe. We will let you know. Yeah, at least give us a thumbs up. We'll let you know, guys, know when we hit our next benchmark of 400 because that'd be super cool. But if you subscribe and hit that bell, then you know when these publish because they publish at weird times. Because I have to wait for iMovie that I edited on to talk to YouTube and get done talking to YouTube, which sometimes is weird. Anyway, we're going to go now because it's almost 10 and we've talked for like 10 more minutes than I was originally planning.
See you on Tuesday for more Adventures with Liz and Rebecca.
Have a good weekend.
We love you.
Oh,
yarn. Oh no.
I don't even know how to untangle myself from this. They might all have to. Nope. Okay. It almost had to all come with me up to you.
That's not a thing.
So not a thing. Oh my gosh.